Okay guys, welcome to episode 2 of my Portugal videos. Um, this episode is focusing on culture, and I promise we're not just gonna be looking at Google images and I'm gonna guess what the culture is, but I thought we would start off with some visuals. Um, we can see here uh, green and red and yellow, big colors in Portugal, big colors. Pardon me. Very colorful clothing. You can see these buildings here, sort of reminiscent of the type you'd see in Spain and even in Mexico. The this I don't know what you'd call this style, but yeah. Well, I just thought we'd look at some visuals first. Um, it's very reminiscent of the Spanish culture, but still distinct for sure. So let's go on our little web adventure here. This feels very old internet, just Googling a country and then researching it. Um, which website should we trust best? I already looked at the culture of Portugal on Wikipedia. That seemed, well, it was a little drab, I'll say that much. I think Portugal Online. Let's check that out. So that's a cool website. Seems like they would like Portugal. We saw this image before. Portugal has a rich food culture. Across the country, you can find a wide variety of local cuisines. In Lisbon, you can find pastel de Belém, an egg tart originating in the Hieronymus monastery. Lisbon is also home to the bifana, a barbecued pork sandwich. The coastal Algarve region has a lot of delicious seafood options available. Okay, so we're looking at food now. This looks, well, frankly, interesting. That bifana sounds delicious. Barbecued pork sandwich sounds like, I mean, it's barbecue. I like barbecue. Um, let's look that up. What is it called? Bifana? Bifana? Bifana. Here we go. Bifanas. Oh wow. Oh, it's not like pulled pork. It's like slabs of pork. That's interesting. The bread looks good. Um, it looks fairly appetizing. I think that other thing looked pretty good too. This bread is kind of weird though. I wonder what this bread is. Here, let's look up bread. Oh, bread from Portugal. Oh, yeah. It's their bread. I probably should have looked this up on Google. Oh well. Alright, so that's interesting. They've got some interesting food options. Let's look up Portugal food. Let's dive into this. Now these egg tarts are showing up quite a bit. I mean, these are really showing up. Oh, whoa, what is this? Oh, fado? I wonder what fado is. Let's look up fado after we are done with looking at the food. A lot of sort of fatty kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like high carbs. I like that. This is. I don't know if you could really call this Portuguese. This seems very, sort of just everywhere. Maybe that's me. I don't know. This seems like something I would eat. It's just a salad, fries, rice, egg, and steak. You know. I don't know if you could really call that from one country. I feel like that's very, that's not important right now. Well, these egg things are really showing up all over the place. What are they? The Belém? Something Belém? Interesting stuff. Um, yeah, well, what is this? This looks good. Best food in Portugal. In Porto. Everybody likes Porto. I'd like to visit there sometime. Maybe see that palace we saw in the first episode. Speaking of that's a great segue. Let's look at the architecture. Architecture. Portuguese. Oh, I spelled it wrong. How did I spell it? Portuguese. Oh, I forgot a U. Well, don't I feel like a fool? Let's see. Sino-Portuguese? That's like Chinese Portuguese architecture. I don't know if that really. I don't know if that's what we're really looking for. We're looking for like typical, the typical Portuguese. Um, Really beautiful looking stuff here. Let's look up. Let's see. Maybe there's a website that's got a great list of the best pieces of architecture. Arch Daily. Architecture from Portugal. Portuguese architecture. 7 most incredible buildings. Alright, cool. That's what we want to see. Oh, well, if the page ever loads. Belém Tower. That word we've seen before. Belém. That was in that food. Ah. Wait, is that Torre de Belém? The big, what the? No way. Get that out of here, man. I don't need no newsletter. Is this the defensive tower, Torre de Belém? Let's look that up. De Belém. Yeah, Belém Tower. I think that's what that was. Yeah. This is a defensive structure, as I understand. It's sort of a fort. Interesting. Very nice. It's kind of small. I wonder if yeah, definitely the same thing. I wonder if it was. Let's see. Let's read up about it. A fortified tower in Belém. Belém Tower was built in the 16th century and stands tall among the Tagus River in Lisbon. While it has served many functions along the years, such as customs checkpoints, today it was one of the most popular attractions in Lisbon after being designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The tower was initially designed as a fortress to protect the city of Lisbon during the reign of King Manuel I. Interesting. It's smaller than I was thinking it was going to be, but I wonder if this is the full thing. I wonder if some of it hasn't fallen into the sea or been demolished, or maybe there was some here in this parking lot. Maybe it is just this sort of little fort here. That there, I'm getting close to the screen to look at that. That looks more like a dock, like a port. Let's see, Hieronymus Monastery. We saw this earlier, or we heard about this earlier. Just a very beautiful monastery. Where is it? It's also in Belém. The Hieronymus Monastery is one of the best examples of late Gothic architecture. It was built in the 16th century by King Manuel I to commemorate the return of Vasco da Gama. Oh, okay, that's cool. The famous explorer Vasco da Gama. Interesting. We got House of Music, Casa da Musica. Whoa, it's modernist. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for Portuguese, not global art styles, although I'm sure this is a fine building. It's a concert hall. It's a house of music, but come on. Pena Palace. Wow, it's all red. Another UNESCO. 7 Wonders of Portugal. Interesting. University of Coimbra. Wow. Holy cow, that's a college? That sounds awesome. And you can go on a tour of it. Whoa. Someone's trapping outside. Wow, mix architectural styles, Gothic, Baroque, and neoclassical elements. I love that. A lot of good stuff there. Mafra National Palace. A lot of palaces. Sanctuary of Fatima. Is it this? Or are these connected? Interesting. Alright, well that'll do it for the architecture. What's another aspect of culture? Clothing. Gotta look at into clothing. Clothing. Tradition. Portuguese clothing, traditional. Wonderful. Traditional costumes. I don't know about costumes. Let's look at actual clothes. Scarves, castanets, aprons, and much more. I guess these are the aprons here. Cora. What is traditional Portuguese clothing? How was / whatever. I don't know about Cora. That's kind of unreliable to some degree. I look at Cora every once in a while. Traditional Portuguese costumes. Where should we look? Guys? Let's do Portugal Visitor. Portugal Visitor. It seems, nice enough. What do we got here? Portugal retains a strong tradition of regional costumes, especially in the more remote north of the country. Sorry, this sword has fallen over. I'm sorry, this is bothering me too bad. I had to fix it. Sorry. Okay. Wait. Portugal remains a strong tradition of regional costumes. I don't know if costumes is the right word. Maybe these are costumes. Maybe this is not. I guess this wouldn't be daily wear. Particular in the Minho and Tras os Montes regions. I'm guessing that's something mountains. Interesting. Nowadays, people only wear traditional dress at Portugal's many festivals and during Carnival. Oh yes, Carnival. We'll have to. I guess this video is going to run a little longer than the first one, but we'll discuss Portugal and their relationship to Brazil quite soon. However, in the remoter areas of northern Portugal, traditional dress was more common up until the 20th century. Interesting. The huge maybe it's gigant, gigantones, or gigantones. Human dolls measuring up to 3.5 to 4 meters in height, seen at Portuguese festivals. Oh. Huh. Well, that's certainly different. I guess these are the gigantones. I will preface, I'm not exactly sure on pronunciation rules for Portuguese words. So if this is like Spanish, I think it would be Higan? Well, there's no J. Gigantones. I think that's what it would be in like Spanish. Gigantones. But it could be different in Portuguese. I don't know for sure. Minho. And then we have, okay, Minho is apparently an outlier with these dresses here. Os Carretos de Podense. Podense? Celebrate Carnival in unique fashion. I guess that's these guys. These are the Os Carretos de Podense. I guess Podense would also be a place. Like the Minho, the neighboring region of Trás-os-Montes has some colorful costumes. The Iberian Museum of Mask and Costume, yeah, you can see that, close to Bragança Castle in Bragança, of course, displays of the various local dresses. Okay, interesting. Got Campino. Oh, it's a cowboy. Okay, very cool. He's got an interesting expression here. I don't know exactly what that's all about, but you know, to each his own. I wonder what the stick could be used for. Ribatejo. Ribatejo is northeast of Lisbon, known for its rich agricultural land. I think we talked about that. Not exactly. Arte Zavega. Pulling fishing nets out of the sea from the beach by sheer arm strength. Very cool. Nazari women in their Sunday best. I see. Ah, speaking of Sundays, before we get into Brazil, Portugal and religion. Gotta look at religion, of course, it's very important. Today, the vast majority of Portuguese identify as Roman Catholic, 81%. However, most consider themselves non-practicing. For many, national and cultural identity is often linked to Catholicism rather than purely a religious affiliation. So the Portuguese see themselves as Catholics because they are Portuguese, and they see to be Portuguese is to be Catholic. I guess, based on this paragraph from Culture Atlas alone, the Portuguese view of religion is intertwined with their culture, as opposed to potentially, like, you know, Americans value freedom of religion to the degree I don't think that I mean, you know, we're technically a majority Christian country, but I don't think we see Christianity as an inherently American trait. You know what I mean? As opposed to the Portuguese here. So that would be the comparison I would make. That's just my positation. You could look into studies about that. I just thought that was important to point out as far as culture goes. Now, okay, we don't have to Google Brazil. I'll just show you Brazil on Google Earth. That would still be Googling, I suppose. So, could we stop with the glitching, please? You know, I'm trying to do a video here. So, Brazil, kind of far away from Portugal, and, you know, extremely huge compared to Portugal. This is getting close to the size of America, and, you know, America's pretty big. I hate to break it to you, but America is quite a large country. I want to say we're the fourth largest in the world. Brazil would be like the fifth or sixth. So yeah, because it goes Russia, Canada, maybe America, China, Brazil. I think would have to be the order, or Australia's in there somewhere. But we'll you see what's significant about Brazil is that it was founded by Portuguese settlers during the sort of equivalent of the scramble for Africa in South America. Now, most of South America was colonized by the Spanish and Portuguese, and I don't remember exactly the treaty, but there was a treaty that said, you know, what there was conflict over who would get what in South America, and it was before South America was totally mapped, as I understand. So what happened was there was a treaty, and somewhere around here, they decided, okay, on this line, everything east is Portuguese, and everything west is Spanish. And it turned out that only Brazil was east of that line, and then everything else ended up being Spanish. And that's why Brazil is the only Portuguese country, you know, majority Portuguese country in South America. The other, um, the exception to that rule is up here. Now, if the names come up, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guyana were, I think, all established by France. Oh, hello. So, yeah. My roommate just got back. So, yes, Guyana was at some point governed by the British. So, that's the takeaway there, I guess. Where's the... Okay.